Before I start, you might think it's a little bit early to be showing you a Christmas jumper. Not just any Christmas jumper, it's a Hammers Chat Christmas jumper. We've literally have them made. It's not too early, we've got to pre-order them because we've only got very, very limited stock. So, if you want one, get in there now. Use the link below. It's hammerschatstore.com. You get a £5 off if you order now, but you've got to do it quick so we know your size. We can get them ordered. We can send the order off to the North Pole. The elves can make them and we can get them to you so as you can wear them before Christmas.
Craig Dawson may well be West Ham United's most important player. Now, there's a sentence you never thought you'd hear. But hold on. Before you put me to rights, before you tell me what's what in the comments, I don't mean of all time. I just mean sort of in the now. Let me give you some stats to back it up. I say stats, more sort of vague reference points. Before Craig Dawson was in the team this season, when Craig Dawson was injured, we weren't winning games. Craig Dawson came back, got in the team, we won games. I don't know, what was it, 4 odd games in a row? Craig Dawson gets injured and is out of the team, and then we get a loss and a draw. That's it. That's my evidence. And that's really what I'm going to present to you now. The reason it's important is, well, because at the moment it looks like he might leave in January. And it also looks like the club are doing everything that we can to try and keep him, including offering him a new deal. Basically, his deal expires at the end of the season. And I understand we've got bigger, more higher calibre, higher prestige players. Declan Rice is more important to West Ham than Craig Dawson, right? We've just brought in a £35 million striker, a £50 million attacker. You can argue that Antonio is more important than Dawson. You can make a case for lots of different players, but at the moment, Craig Dawson is pretty integral to us getting results. And when I say at the moment is important because we're missing an awful lot of our defence. And he's the glue that sort of binds the team together when our defence is dropping like flies. It's not just this season. Look at last season when everybody was out. And even Dawson himself, I think, had a broken nose. He had a sprained ankle or something like that, and he still played through when everyone else was out. Even Diop, we thought Diop's going to get a game now. Diop's going to get a chance. Diop got injured as well. And he was literally holding that defence together. You could never have predicted, by the way, that Craig Dawson would have got to this sort of point and this sort of level of importance at West Ham when you look at the, not the backlash, let's say, but the, let's just say really the apathy that there was when it looked like we were going to sign him on loan from Watford. Nobody thought he was going to turn out to be this good. I was willing to give him a chance. I said that I wasn't quite as annoyed as some might be, but I wasn't sitting there saying, oh no, look, this guy will turn out to be one of our best players. Didn't think so. I just thought he might be a half-decent squad player to fill in when other people got injured. I certainly wasn't expecting the goals, wasn't expecting man-of-the-match performances, wasn't expecting the leadership. Well, you know what? That's what we got, and we got all of that and more besides. So the trouble is with at the moment with his contract is that he wants to go back up north. He lives in Manchester and his family live in Manchester. Now, this is an old argument for me, and it's something that I talk about quite a lot, and that's the importance of the family balanced up against football. And I've always said it myself. You've got to assume that most of these Premier League footballers are already millionaires, right? So it's not like you have to go and work to pay the rent. You're already comfortable. Your house is already probably paid for. You're comfortable for the rest of your life, and so are probably your children. So at that point, what becomes important? Well, I think your family being happy is pretty far up there. And we don't know his personal circumstances, but something... I don't know. Let's just say he's better off being up in Manchester at the moment. He wants to be up in Manchester. His wife wants to remain there. His kids are in school up there. He travels. He commutes all the time. And what we've tried to do is persuade him to sign an extended contract down here. Now, the one thing you've got to say about Dawson is this travel, this commute does not affect his performance at all. I mean, just far from it. He is your consummate professional. But I think it's important that we don't push our luck with that. I mean, that's just him. That's just a measure of the man. That's the type of guy he is. That even though he might not be entirely happy at work, he might not be entirely happy with his circumstance, once you pay him the money, he's going to give you 100%. You know, he's a workhorse. I've often thought with people like Dawson, doesn't matter whether they're footballers, builders or anything else, they just give you maximum. They're just solid type characters, basically. But I've often said since I found out that there was a bit of an issue there, and let's be fair, we nearly sold him to Wolves just at the end of the last transfer window, and I'm adamant that Wolves wouldn't be in the situation that they're in had they have got Craig Dawson. In fact, I'll go this far to say this much, that if Wolves had got Craig Dawson, I think quite possibly their manager wouldn't have lost his job. That's how important he would have been to them, and he's certainly important to us. But when I first caught wind of it, that he wanted to go back home, I thought, is there a compromise? Can we say to him, look, can you come down and just train 2 days a week? And then maybe, for instance, it's like if we go and play Manchester United, for an example, is there any point in him travelling down to London just to travel back up to Manchester? Something like that. That might even be in place. Just say to him, look, you travel from your home and go to the game and you meet us up there. Is there a compromise? You wouldn't do it for everybody, but for special circumstances. And as I say, we do not know what's going on in his family life. Sometimes you just need a little bit of leeway. You might expect the same. You have something going on in your home life. You might approach your boss and you might say, look, this isn't great. My circumstances have changed, so I'm going to carry on working for you. I'm going to have to do something, and you would hope your boss or the company that you work for would facilitate that and would be helpful. And I just wonder if we can't do something like that. Maybe we've tried. I'd be very surprised if we hadn't actually. But the latest story to come up is really that he is he's injured at the moment, and his recovery is taking longer because he's having to commute from Manchester to London for his medical care. And that's not good. Before I talk about that a little bit more, and by the way, I want to talk about something else as well, because yesterday we briefly discussed the topic of Declan Rice's tattoo. I've got to be honest with you, I did a little Google search, and I did a little search for footballers' tattoos, and what I came up with is going to be a little bit of a surprise. But before I just talk about Dawson a little bit more and show you a few of the most ghastly tattoos you've ever seen in your life, this video is sponsored by the Spitch Fantasy Football app, which you can download by clicking the link underneath this screen. Now, the great thing about the Spitch Fantasy Football app is that, well, firstly, you can win money at it, but secondly, it doesn't matter if you've done crap in all the previous game weeks. It starts afresh each and every time. There are several different games on Spitch. You can do Bundesliga, you can do European games, or you can do the official Premier League game. That is fantastic. There are massive prizes all across the Spitch board, which are up to £70,000 each and every game week. The minimum you can spend, you can go and join in on the free game. You can come and join in if you want, join in myself and Gio on our free Hammers Chat Fantasy Football Mini League. Try and face off against myself and Gio. It ain't going to be too hard, particularly against me, who's been doing absolutely crap in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Or you can back yourself if you think you're a really good fantasy football player. Then you could do an entry-level game at £1.70, which it's not just one prize. I think the last time I looked at it, it was paying prizes right down to, I think, 13th place. And on one of the mini-games, there was only 50 participants. So really, let's be fair, you had a bloody good chance of winning some money. Gio won some money, and actually, week before last, I won some money. Go and check it out. That's the Spitch Fantasy Football app, and you can download it by clicking that link below. So the Dawson thing, and particularly the story coming out that his recuperation was being hindered by the fact he was having to travel. That's not a good story. That's not a good story. I'm pretty sure that's not come out from the club, because why would they? It doesn't make the club sound good. It doesn't sound good if you've got someone that's, let's not call him sick, but if you've got someone that's injured and you're asking him to travel long distance to get some treatment on that injury, that's not good. It's not a good look. I don't think the club would have sort of peddled that story. What's the sensible thing? Well, if he's got an injury of some description, it sort of makes sense for him to get treated in Manchester, doesn't it? Rather than sort of travel to, I don't know how long it is, 3 hours on the train, 4 hours on the car, I don't know. Whatever it is, it probably ain't good for him to be doing that journey. But for the information to be out there and for him to be saying, this is not good for me, I think sort of spells the end. I think it spells that Dawson's going in January. It really is as simple as that. Now, we can keep hold of him until the end of the season. Will we get the same committed player? Yes, we absolutely will. But I just think he goes. Why wouldn't you? I just don't think he's going to sign a new deal, no matter what we offer him. He's clearly not someone that's massively money motivated. His family is first, so there's no amount of money that we can offer him that would persuade him to stay anyway. So it's really just a case of, do we look to sell him in January? And if we do, why? For what? For £3-4 million? I just think we recoup that by finishing higher up in the Premier League anyway. I think if what we're serious about this season is finishing well, not just high up in the Premier League, but having a real go in the Conference League and just trying to win a trophy, or the FA Cup, or whatever it might be. I think if we win anything, I do believe that Craig Dawson is going to be a massive, massive part of that. And I just don't think he's somebody that we can afford to let go in January just for the sake of a few million. I'll be sorry to see him go. I don't want to talk about him now like he's already gone, because I think he's got a big part to play at West Ham. But the more I look at it, the more I look at his contract situation, the more I look at the information we know about his home life, I just can't see any way that he signs a new deal. And I think that's a massive shame. And I think because I think had he spent another 3 or 4 years at West Ham, I think we'd be looking at a Ginger Pele type situation, a real cult hero. I think he's on the cusp, the verge of doing it right now anyway. But I think he's been an excellent player for West Ham, so I'll be sorry to see him go. Right, so yes, see, I put my glass on because we've got to look at some pictures now. Not that kind of picture. Almost, funny enough. So yesterday, when we had a little bit of fun, a little bit of silliness at the end of the video, and somebody was asking on the Google search, what does Declan Rice's tattoo say? And I did a little joke about a tattoo and about just about having a very, very small tattoo that nobody could read, and if you zoomed in on it, it would say mind your own business. Anyway, I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out what is about Declan Rice's tattoo. Now, the first thing I came across was not specifically about Declan Rice's tattoo. For some reason, it did a generic search about footballers' tattoos. And there have been some real nightmare tattoos in football. Basically, spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you what's on Declan Rice's tattoo, because the one article I saw, I'm not even sure if it was real anyway. And in all honesty, I don't care. Whatever it is, it's not particularly funny. But I'm going to show you some nightmare tattoos now. And I've got to say, boys and girls, before you do get your skin inked up, it might be worth looking at a few of these horror stories. In fact, what we might be able to do, I'll be really interested in the comments below. Maybe we could get a tattoo-based football 11. You get what I'm saying? A sort of play on words, something like Alan Paint Maximan, Andrew Inky, that sort of thing. Can we get 11 players, there's got to be a goalkeeper in there, who are tattoo or ink-based? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be checking through on them. Let me show you the first one. So the first one that comes up here is it's Gareth Southgate, basically. I think this was a really presumptuous tattoo, which is basically Gareth Southgate holding, he's got a World Cup pressed to his head, and it says it's coming home at the bottom. I thought, which was rather presumptuous. The waistcoat's there, it's all there. The only thing that wasn't there was the World Cup win. At least you can look at that and think, that's Gareth Southgate. Because I'm going to show you a few others now, and you wouldn't be sure at all. Who do we see before us now? Is that Sloth from the Goonies? No, it's not. That's Alan Shearer. I don't understand why you would get this done. I don't even understand why you wouldn't go to the best tattooist possible to get. Surely, if you're a tattooist, there's one thing you've got to do. I often say this about footballers. Surely a prerequisite of being a footballer is you've got to be able to kick the ball, right? I mean, it's just basic stuff. Unless you're a goalkeeper, you've got to be able to catch the ball. That was catching the ball. That wasn't a different mind, by the way. I'm thinking if you are a tattooist, that's what they call a tattoo artist, the ability to draw is probably quite high up there. It's probably the main thing. I'm looking at this and thinking, whoever did this. Now, I don't know when he's showing off his tattoo, this the man that's got Alan Shearer tattooed on his back. Is he proud or is he embarrassed? I guess we'll never know. He's not showing his face, and rightly so, his face. We can see Alan Shearer's face. Who is this? Who is this that I see before me now? Is it Drake? No, it's not. This is Gareth Southgate again. Gareth Southgate looks something like Gareth Southgate, but once again, it's coming home, which it absolutely didn't do. Why would you get that printed? Why would you get that etched and drawn on your skin before England have won the tournament? I get it. England win the tournament. I absolutely get it. You know, you get it done. You get the 3 Lions, World Cup, the date we won it, whenever, I don't know, 2023-58 or whenever we're going to win the World Cup, right? I get it. But before we've actually won it, you get it put on. Anyway, it's far from the worst. So, you know what Google's like, or YouTube, or any of these things? When you start Googling stuff, not only does it offer you the thing that you're looking for, it's like now, you're watching this right now on YouTube, unless you're watching this on full screen. If you're watching this on the small screen, and I never advise watching me on full screen, what you're going to get is down the side there, you're going to get a list of suggested videos. It won't just be things that you're interested in. It will be things that YouTube has decided that you're probably interested in. And it's quite good at it as well. So it started throwing up other tattoos, non-football based tattoos at me. This one I really liked. This is a Metallica tattoo. And it's that classic. It's that classic nothing else mattress. Now, I don't claim to know anything about Metallica, but I'm guessing it's Nothing Else Matters. I don't know if that's the album name or the song name. I'm sure someone will tell me. But Nothing Else Mattress. I thought was I just again. The ability to draw is probably quite high on the list of somebody, but you'd think, it's not like me. If I get a thumbnail wrong or I do the title incorrectly. The other day I did a video and I did the title and I spelt Tilo Kera wrong. Gatesy from Forge of Iron phoned me up. He said, mate, just to let you know, you spelt Kera wrong. I said, thank you very much, Gatesy. I went in, I corrected it. It's not the end of the day, is it? I just press edit and I'd put the H and the R the other way around. Sorted, not a problem. I am dyslexic though, right? I am dyslexic. And I think with that in mind, I would triple check everything if I was going to etch something forevermore on somebody's skin. Unless Metallica have got an album out I don't know anything about. I'm guessing Nothing Else Mattress. Nothing else will do, would it? You can't sleep on anything else, basically. This one is lovely. First of all, the likeness is uncanny. I'm sure you can tell straight away that is Michael Jackson. The sentiment starts well. Forever with us, because obviously Michael Jackson sadly passed away. As a little heart with an MJ in it. That's lovely. I get it. He touched so many. I probably wouldn't have gone with that one. I probably would have left that alone. Anyway, even without that, quite frankly, the person that did the drawing of Michael Jackson, they need. This is the thing, when you've got no governing body. I think maybe there's no authority. There's nobody that governs and issues licenses to people. Basically, is there anybody out there who can test whether a tattooist can draw or not? I think there's probably not. Anyway, that's not the worst one. Some of the funniest. This is fantastic. Bron to die. Oh my word. Bron to die. Oh, I bet he died. I bet that tattooist died. How did he not? Why did he carry on? Because I'm assuming that when you're etching it, he started with the B, he didn't start with the E and work backwards. I think he started with the B. Why didn't you just say after you've done the art, oh, I've mucked up here. There's something else that can be done before we do the whole arm. Anyway, I do wonder. I'd like to see something of how these things got resolved. This is wonderful. This might be my favourite tattoo of all time. It's brilliant. I think sometimes I can actually understand how they didn't notice. So, It's My Life. It's My Life. Now, do you know this song? It's a Bon Jovi song. John Bon Jovi. John Bon Jovi is the lead singer of the band Bon Jovi, okay? And one of their most famous songs is It's My Life. So this says, It's My Life. John Bovi. It's brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, you'd be furious, wouldn't you? You'd be absolutely furious. And you can see that the tattoo is fresh. It's got that sort of raw, it's got that raw look about it, hasn't it? It still needs the ointment on it. I think this is absolutely the last one here, which is it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. The sentiment is great. The sentiment is live without regrets, which I think is a mantra that many of us would like to use and go through our life living without regrets. It's not true, by the way. Let's be fair. Both you and me have all got plenty of regrets. There's a lot of stuff that we've done wrong. But you get the sentiment. It's a nice sentiment. Live without regrets. Unfortunately, that's not what the tattoo says. It says, live without regrets. Which is, I don't think it means anything at all. But the irony is on this, that the person who had decided to have this etched on their back clearly thinks that you should go through life not having any regrets. So I can only assume that when it was pointed out, I do wonder whether this happens in the tattoo parlour or when you get home and somebody has to say, just one thing about that. There's one thing that you have to look about this, and when they pointed it out, I thought, that's not right. They've actually spelt regrets wrong. When you've decided to live your life by that mantra, then realistically you have to look at it and think, you know what, I don't regret getting that tattoo done at all.